Heyo everybody, Haku here with my review for Tongari Boushi no Atelier, or Witch Hat Atelier. So I feel goofy as hell using the Japanese name for this, even though I usually default to the Japanese name. That's just what I remember most series by, unless the English name is for some reason way easier. But for this one, it's so popular it feels weird to say Tongari Boushi no Atelier, but it might help me out because which because oh my gosh, I almost mixed it up again. Little Witch Academia has been just seeping into my mind, my heart and soul, as always. Little Witch Academia is one of my, if not my favorite anime ever, but throughout this entire season, as I've been watching week to week, it's been seeping its way in there. I keep misspeaking. I keep being like, oh, Witch Hat Academia, or Little Witch Atelier, and I'm just, they're little witches. It's messing with me. I always keep messing it up. But I think the way that I'm going to structure this, you're going to have to deal with me because I have no notes whatsoever. I am just going to be talking off the top of my head, so I don't know quite what order I'll go in. But I also think that I like to usually do my reviews in a way where I don't spoil things so that it can serve as a recommendation for people. But this is already probably the most popular anime of the season, at least the most popular new anime, I would think. So most of you have probably already seen it, and here's the recommendation part. I recommend go watch it yourself and come back, because I don't think that I can talk about this in a way where I don't bring up things that I wouldn't rather you go and watch and experience yourself. So I'm just going to talk about it with my straight up thoughts, and that's going to include things that may or may not be spoilery for the world and the twists that come with discovering the world in like episode 1. So there's no way to talk without bringing up some of that stuff. Either way, though, I guess with that aside, before I get into the praising and glazing, because I have so many things to praise the show for, so many things that I would say are very, very good, I'll go ahead and filter anybody who doesn't want any criticism whatsoever by giving my criticisms at the very start. And let me tell you, my criticisms are not very critical. My criticisms are more along the lines of, this was very, very good, but not like my favorite. Like, this isn't my number 1 of the season, not even my number 2 of the season. I think that this is a really, really good anime, but if I were putting it on a tier list, it would maybe be like a high A tier anime, not an S tier anime, which I feel like is only a hot take because people have really, really hyped this up, and I do think it's very, very good. I just don't think it is the best. I would, in fact, compare it to last season's Yushake ni Shosu, or Sentence to be a Hero. I would compare it to that, only a lot better, where my take on that last season was that the direction was very, very good. The animation, the art style, it looked great. It was really, really good. But the story and characters didn't really live up to the production quality. And I would compare this to that in the sense that I think that the art style and visuals are even better here. I think that it's even better, and once again, I feel like the production quality outpaced the story and characters a bit, though I would still say the story and characters in this are like so much stronger than Sentence to be a Hero. I would still put the story and characters of this way higher than that. So again, it's not that they're bad, but I do think the production outpaces the story. It's more of a visual treat than a story where you feel a lot of heart and soul and magic for it to be a show about magic. And that is sort of my other bit of criticism, is that one thing I kept thinking of while watching this was the scene from SpongeBob where you're having the competition and King Neptune is cooking up those patties, where, he's got this system where he's just raising the weed out of the ground, making just a mountain of patties, but SpongeBob is making just one singular one with a lot of love. And I have seen so many anime that it's like they didn't have a huge budget, or they didn't have a big time frame, or the visuals aren't the best, but you can just feel the passion and the heart and soul, whereas this kind of felt like very, very good on a technical level, insanely good on a technical level, but it felt like watching an anime from a very good anime factory. It just felt not homemade with love, but factory made with, lots of the most well-paid talent and highest technology. The description, the simile, the metaphor is falling apart on me, but I hope you get what I mean. This felt to me very, very, very good to look at, but I just didn't feel the heart and soul from it like I feel from so many other anime. I felt like it was just a very, very well made, but what the substance wasn't there as strongly as the visuals were. But going from that to actually talk about things, I guess I can talk about the world before getting into the characters. I do enjoy the world of this and the magic. I was really excited about the magic at first. That's something that a lot of people praise, where it's very structured, like a mathematical equation. And that's really, really cool. Until you get to the point where some of the spells, I'm like, hold up 1 second. Why? Like, in order for it to be a dragon shape and then move like that and then do that thing, you would have to be like, okay, these lines mean that it holds this shape from this direction for this many seconds, and then this would mean that it moves in this way, but instead you just draw a dragon in the middle and it takes the shape of a dragon. I was like, okay, well, I guess you just draw the dragon symbol and it becomes a dragon. So it becomes a lot less simple when it's like, and I'm like, okay, well, how would that spell work? And it's like, oh, this symbol just makes things repeat. And it's like, well, so it's like the system is very, very cool at a surface level, but then when you get into it, it's like, okay, in order for them to do some of these flashy, crazy things, there has to kind of be a little bit of cheating in there. And one thing I would say is a big praise of that system is the technology side of things. I love all of the Witch Society's little technology they use, like the shoes, or I thought the boat was really cool, the ferry that they use to get across to the island, where they lift up the part of it and then put the part back down to complete the circle, or like the pen that burns things into things, or all the little things that Olrugio has. I think that all of that was very cool. I was a fan of all the little technology that they have in their world. I think that is very cool. But moving on from there, actually, one thing else in the world, if I'm in the world of Witch Hat Atelier, I'm getting my memories erased. I'm totally just doing forbidden magic or something, and I'm probably not cool enough to not be caught or whatever, so I'm just totally getting my memories erased, and then I don't know anything about magic. That is my fate in the world of Witch Hat Atelier. Because I'll be real with you. I am not fully on the brimmed cap side of things, because they do some bad things, but philosophically, I don't like the Witch Society, and I think that's not a bad way to read things. I think that's what the mangaka is getting at. The Witch Society, we are from the start shown a bunch of their flaws. We are shown a bunch of bad people like Yuini's master, a bunch of negative stuff like the way they treat outsiders or the way they treat somebody with a disability. We are shown a lot of bad things about this society and the way it works. How quick they are to take something as precious as somebody's memories and be like, okay, those memories, those are gone. We're shown a lot of bad things about Witch Society. How, rather than doing a full investigation on Coco, the Knight's morale would be like, you know what? Immediately, no investigation. Any information we could get out of you on any potential danger with forbidden magic or the brim caps, screw that. We're just taking away your memories. We see so many flaws right from the start, and I think we're supposed to see those flaws in the Magic Society. And the fact that we get things like, okay, because of the way that forbidden magic works, that means that medical magic is forbidden. And in the past, there were witches who specialized in medicine, and now that's kind of been lost. So all of that, I think, is very purposeful. As far as the characters go, I think I loved every character. I don't think there's a single character I did not love. And every character, I guess except maybe Coco and Tetia. Coco and Tetia are just pure souls. They've done nothing wrong. But I think at least every character did or said something at some point where I was like, that's kind of rude. That's a bit of a mean thing. Why would you do that to them? Why would you say that to them? So the characters weren't without friction, and I think that's good. I like that all of the characters I really, really enjoyed, but none of them were like, I mean, if you would see any interactions with the fandom, how dare you criticize Kiefer in any way whatsoever. But I like that there was this bit of an obsession with him toward the Brimmed Caps, and that he was willing to do some things and say some things at times that weren't always exactly good, even if I trust that he has his reasons. I think that those bits of a dark side or bits of an abrasive side to characters like Riche and Agat, I think are good. It made it so it's not, and that's something I can say about the story as a whole, where it is comfy and cute, but at the same time, it's not without stakes and danger. You feel like characters are in danger. There are high stakes. There are bad things that happen to characters. We see at the very, very end of the series that's still true. Or very end of the season, at least, that's still true. So I think that that's something else that I liked, is that they were able to do both things. They were able to make it just a cute and comfy show, but also a show where serious things do happen. That's not off the table. And there are, sort of, there is at least some friction when it comes to liking things. I like that was done. And I feel like I lost my train of thought. I was going to bring up another character, but kind of lost it. Either way, moving on from there, I talked about the characters. As far as production quality goes, I don't even think I have to talk about that a lot, because it's just incredible. It is just some of the best. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. They went above and beyond. I love the not only detail and attention to detail, but the down-to-earth nature of just showing us some of the small little things that they do. And some of the daily life kind of things here and there. I think that helps a lot, just immersing you in the world. When we see, even in episode 1, like Coco going down the steps, and we just take our time and show everything. And we do that with a lot of things. I think that's very, very, very good. I always talk about the opening and ending. Opening for this one, amazing, great. Again, it kind of gives me that, the King Neptune feeling, where it's like so good, but I'm like, I feel like I should feel more heart and soul and magic from it, but I kind of struggle to. But there's just so many cool things. Like, I love the end where we have the different gateways and you see that it's different places and stuff. It's so good. I love the song for the ending. The song is gorgeous. I think the visuals are really, really good too. A little bit spoilery. So when I'm watching the ending every week, I'm like, okay, there's Las Noches. I remember when they were there in like episode 3 or whatever. It's like, oh, there's Las Noches. There's the banners for the Knights Morales and everything. Oh, there's gonna be I'm like 3 episodes in. Neat. There's gonna be a werewolf here at some point. And imagine my shock. Imagine my surprise when there is no werewolf. And then there's no werewolf, and we're a couple minutes from the end of the show, and some things start happening, and I'm like, oh no. That was something the entire time. I'm like, where's this werewolf at? The entire time I'm thinking about that. But that was all very good. And I will talk about the ending now, I guess. I really, really respect that they just left things where they are. They said, this is a very good show. Whenever we have more episodes, you'll be back to watch. I like it because I have been through so many anime where things are straight up ruined by things being skimmed over or things being rushed in order to fit into 12 or 13 episodes, when it's like, no, just adapt the story how it is, give it good pacing, even if it doesn't end at a natural break in the story, just end it if you need to, or give us more or less episodes. I don't know. End it if you need to, though, and be like, we'll come back with more episodes when we come back with more episodes. I really respect it. I appreciate that it didn't seem it didn't seem rushed. It didn't seem skimmed over. We just got things as they were, and the cliffhanger makes me like, okay, now I'm excited for when we get to continue this stuff. I mean, where we left off, Elira's been proctor napped, Yuini's a furry, and the gold statue people have come across some random injured witch and 2 Mirfans. Like, what on earth is that? And speaking of the Mirfans, I love the Mirfans. I think they're so cute. I love them so much. I love the animals in general now that I'm thinking about it more, and the places that we get to see, they're all so nice. I like the design style of that, and I feel like design of locations is something that I appreciate generally in any series. I love the brush bugs, or I think the subtitles called them brush buddies, but in Japanese they were definitely saying like furemushi. So the brush bugs, brush buddies, whatever they are, I think they're so cute. I love those too. I love the one shot where we get to see Yuini, and in order to show us what's going on and why the Mirfans start freaking out, we get to see like Mirfan Riche and Mirfan Agat. That was so funny. I do like all of that. And moving on from there, I don't think I have a ton left to say, so one thing I typically make myself do with all of my reviews and everything is pick a favorite character, waifu, and relationship. Character, again, I loved all of them, but I feel like there was friction with all of them, which I think is good. I love the idea of Olrugio. I love everything we've seen of him so far. His like magic inventions and stuff, and the way that his specialty for spells seems to be. I really, really like that, but I also don't think I saw quite enough of him to say he's my favorite when the others were really good too. I really like Kifri, especially I love the darker, questionable side. My personal theory for him is that, again, please don't spoil me, my personal theory is that maybe he is a past brimmed cap that has switched sides against them, and that's why he's so devoted against them, and also why he covers pretty much every inch of skin except his face. Like, almost all of his skin is completely covered at all times. So I'm feeling like maybe he just does that to cover the scars from where magical tattoos used to be, or maybe he still has the magical tattoos. The same with his eye. I think he has a magic eye in there. He's hiding the magic eye. That's my personal thoughts. And then it's hard not to say that Coco is my favorite just because she's so good. It's crazy to imagine. I thought that her voice actress sounded so familiar, but I feel like this is one of her earliest roles, maybe even her first leading role, and it's crazy how good she is. Coco was really, really, really great. But out of everything, and even though there are some bits that caused a bit of friction with me liking the character, I do think my favorite is Riche. I really, really liked Riche early on, and then getting more of a focus toward her in the last few episodes, again, started off with some things where I'm like, I don't like that she said that to that person, or I don't like that she did that. But I really just came around to being like, even though the friction was there, Riche is my favorite by the end. I also really, really love Agat in a similar way, where Agat has said and done some things where I'm like, I don't like that she did that to Coco. I don't like that she said that to people. But I still really, really, really like her as a character. So I would say Riche is my favorite character, and this is a bit of a weird series to do like best girl waifu on, but I would stick with Riche as like best girl, still best character, still my like favorite character. So best girl and favorite character both go to Riche. And for favorite relationship, I really haven't thought about this. What is my favorite relationship here? I feel like the default that a lot of people might go to is Coco and Kifri. That does seem like an easy one to go for. Though Coco, I haven't even really brought up, what was his name? Tarta, very much. Tarta was really good, and his relationship with Coco is pretty solid too. That's making me think. And I also like Coco and Agat. There is, again, I've mentioned it multiple times in this review, but there is friction there between the two of them. But I think that it leads to a pretty cool place that the two of them are at by the end of the series. I guess I wouldn't put that as stronger as Coco and Kifri's relationship, though, for me. This is difficult. And I want to know more about the, like, eye brimmed cap, the one that originally gives the book to Coco, because their voice, to me, their voice sounds exactly like Kifri's voice. So I'm wondering, is it a clone? Is it a twin? Like magical twin, magical clone? Is that his eye? They said it's the eye or whatever. Is it his eye? His eye became the brimmed cap, and that's the person that gave Coco the book, and that's why he's so, like, dedicated to trying, obsessed with trying to find them. That could be a potential answer for things. But I guess I will say Coco and Kifri, just because I like so many other relationships, but that one is maybe the most developed so far. Or at least the one we got the most screen time with. Maybe. I also love the brush buddy, not loyal at all, was sticking around Coco for most, or at least at first showed up with Coco, first met her, but then very immediately upon seeing Kifri was won over and was just like, I'm gonna be living with Kifri now, Coco. Of course, it moved around with the different members of the Atelier, but it seemed to stick mostly around Kifri, and, I get it. But I think that's probably about it. I'm sure because I didn't take notes and just went off the top of my head, there's probably things I've forgotten. But like I said, my general overall take is that it's very, very good. I really, really liked it. Like I said, if I was going to be grading it, it's a very high A. It's just not going into S tier for me personally. That's where I am with it. And I also think that I don't know whether I even want to broach the subject or bring this up in my review. I usually don't like talking about things like this at all, but I do think that starting off the season with the mangaka doing an interview with basically an evil rape and sex trafficking organization to disrespect decades of female mangaka is disappointing. I dislike that. It's not a good way to kick off the season, but I tried to not let outside information like that affect my view on the show itself, especially when, like I said, it's disappointing. It's not the best thing ever, but I definitely want to give the mangaka the benefit of the doubt. Definitely want to give the mangaka the benefit of the doubt, but I just feel like you should probably do better research on people you're doing an interview with. Though again, how much did she know? And how much of a bad edit did she get? Or, asking certain questions to frame things a certain way. But again, when you have questions being framed at you a certain way, you should maybe shut that down, I would think. But I guess to be very, very, very clear on my opinions, it's more like the anime industry and manga industry, of course, has been pretty filled with a large portion, if not a majority, female creatives, and a lot of anime and manga fandom and everything is built on, again, women in creative spaces and female fans. And so to make out like a modern example of success is something that's going against the norm, when even in a part of the industry that might be more male dominated, like shonen, there are probably like a half dozen adaptations just this season alone of shonen that were done by female authors. To act like that is some sort of exception feels like a slap in the face to the giants upon whose the jolters to the giants whose shoulders you're standing on. But again, I would like to give the benefit of the doubt there. And also, I think the fan base overhyping it, and especially over defending Kifri when people are like, I don't know if I trust him for this reason, or I don't know if I trust him for that reason, is a little maybe on the spoilery side. and not doing the series the most favors. Especially, it is a little bit worrying and concerning, I think, when the fan base has a lot of the same types of people that would usually just harass the author for having a character with a pointy white hat, or having Yuini's spell make his head black and nothing else, or having it centered around underage female characters. Why aren't they in college? Or having them, living with the male lead authority figure. I feel like usually a lot of the people in the Witch Hat fan base are the types of people who would usually just say, this resembles this other thing at a certain very, very superficial level, and thus this mangaka must support thing that is bad in real life. Which is ridiculous anytime it happens. I am very, very glad and thankful it's not happening here, at least not yet, but it is something that is a little bit concerning, just being completely fair. But then also, it's hard to not, for me, just dark joke, hard for me to not make a Keyfree's Island joke. And there are so many times when Keyfree is interacting and it feels like he is just exuding the riz. He is just putting it out there. He is just hitting the e-boy facial expressions and voice acting. There's so many scenes where I'm like, how do I read this other than that Keyfree's hot? What do I take from this scene other than that he's sexy? That's a self-report on me. What do I gain from this other than that he's hot? But either way, I don't like usually bringing things like that up, but I feel like it was such a notable thing at the beginning of the season, and also such an out there prominent thing when it comes to Witch Hat Atelier. I feel now I'm paranoid that I've been saying Witch Hat Academia the whole time. It was such a prominent thing that there was a part of me that didn't want to talk about it, but also a part of me that felt like a full, honest, comprehensive review of my thoughts on the series that didn't include it wouldn't actually be complete. But either way, that's where I'll end things here. I really enjoyed it, and I'm excited for more. I think some of the art that I've seen from the manga as well is absolutely gorgeous, and they did a wonderful job adapting that into anime, like the stuff with Yuini toward the end. Man, that was... It feels bad to say beautiful. It was beautiful in a horrifying, scary way. What the dog doing? Very, 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 very scary. Very bad. But either way, I will end things here. Like if you did like the video, comment down there to tell me what you thought of the season, what you thought of my thoughts and all of that. Subscribe for more anime, much more on the channel. Like, comment, subscribe if you want. If you want to help support the channel by dropping a super thanks or sharing around, it's appreciated. If you want to help support the channel by becoming a member or patron, you get One Piece Bingo a little early, get your name at the end of videos, and of course you're helping to support the channel. So thank you. Just hit join down below to become a member. Go to patreon.com/Haku of the Tubes, or a link will be in the description. Thank you so much to people who are already members and patrons. Thank you to chosen regulars Evan, Holly, and Bertie Wooster. Thank you to Magical Girls Dee Ban and Maru. Thank you to Cheriton student David Langstaff. Thank you to Slayer candidates SG and Stan Cedar. And thank you to Pure Element Pater Dial. Thank you all so much for your support. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.